In fantasy football, everybody loves a good stack because if you hit on it, well, you got a fantasy championship in your back pocket. Now, as always, drop your favorite stack in the comments section below. And who knows, if we agree, disagree, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys. Now, as of right now, my favorite stack is from America's team. I never thought I would say it, but CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are hopefully trying to get back to what they were just 2 seasons ago. Because in 2023, this stack won the most fantasy championships for players, according to Fantasy Football Pros. And this year, CeeDee is my wide receiver 3. Dak is my quarterback 9, simply for the fact that, well, they don't have an offensive line. They don't have a running back room, so they're going to be forced to throw the ball about 45 times a game. And what does that mean? That means dominance for fantasy players. Last year, of course, they had a bit of a down year due to Dak's injury. But when you go back to 2023, when both these guys were healthy, CeeDee, wide receiver 1, Dak, the quarterback 3, despite not being a mobile quarterback. So that should show you that together, these guys dominate. Now, you might have questions. Owen, do you worry about the addition of George Pickens and how that can affect this offense? Well, for Dak, I don't. That gives him another option. But for CeeDee Lamb, that only opens up the field for CeeDee Lamb to face single coverage for really the first time in his career. Because in prior years, he's never faced that, even as a rookie. So it opens up the field for both of these guys to dominate in 2025. Now, another quarterback and wide receiver pair I like is CJ Stroud, who's going super late in drafts, and Nico Collins. Now, Nico, you're going to have to get him early, in the early to mid-second round of your draft. But then late in the draft, rounds 14, 15, you can get his quarterback. Now, when you look at the situation of this Texans offense, there's not a great offensive line. They have injuries at the running back position, and Tank Dell is going to be out until the midseason mark. Oh, by the way, they also traded Stephon Diggs. So right now in that wide receiver room, it is Nico Collins and a bunch of rookie wide receivers. Now, I love Jaden Higgins, but he's not going to be ready yet. So for Nico Collins, when he was healthy last year with the options around him, he was on pace to be by far, in a way, the #1 fantasy wide receiver. He was on pace for 2,000 yards. So when these guys are on the field, they obviously have great chemistry, but they can dominate for our fantasy lineups. And to get both of these guys at a value, in my opinion, it is absurd. Last year, Nico was the wide receiver 8 before the injuries to himself, and CJ Stroud struggled because of it. He did have a down season, but I think CJ can finish as a top 12 quarterback. And honestly, I think Nico has a case to be the #1 wide receiver this year. So to get both of these guys at a value and knowing they're going to have to throw a bunch, I think it's immense value for a stack that might win you a lot of championships. Now let's get away from the traditional stack here. I want to give you guys one more that doesn't involve a quarterback. Bijan Robinson. Now, of course, you're going to have a top 5 pick in the draft to do this. But if you do, this could be your route to get away from the early part of your draft and winning your fantasy title. Bijan as a top 5 pick in the draft is a must. And then to pair him with Drake London at the end of the second, early third round can win you your league. As you see on your screen, Bijan's my #1 running back on the year. That means I would take him #1 overall in pretty much any format. Now, Drake London right now is my wide receiver 6. I legitimately think that he has one of the safest floors, and he could finish as a top 3 wide receiver this year, and you can get him at the end of the second round. So for both of these guys to potentially be top 3 at their position, could be great for the foundation of your roster. Now, this all depends on your belief in Michael Penix and this offense. Personally, I think they're in a wide open division. They have an easier schedule. I think that Michael Penix will explode this year, and this will be a top 10 offense in the league. So with that train of thought, I think given the fact that, hey, both these guys were top 5 at the position last year with a banged up Kirk Cousins, who was really a shell of his former self, now you get a quarterback with a rocket of an arm and an offense that is looking to put up some big-time numbers. So, again, it's a bit riskier to get 2 teammates in the top 2 rounds of your draft, but I think the potential is there for this team to explode, and these guys are going to be the reason because of it. But those are just 3 of my favorite stacks this year. So let me know yours in the comment section below, and let me know based on value or just star talent which one you are targeting in all of your drafts this season. I'm excited to see those answers.